Hello friends, how are you all? Hope you are doing great at various aspects of your lives. We were curious to explore the books by Mainak Dhar since a while, but we are not getting the time for the same. Fortunately, we stumbled upon a fantastic book of her and bought his latest thriller, then released, Sniper's Eye, which is meant to be book 1 of the 7 series. Then the book remained in the to be read queue for a while. Ultimately, I got a chance to read it from our team, and here is my unbiased book review for the same. What I like the most in the book is the love of the author for his late father, Malloy Krishnadhar, one of the celebrated intelligence officer from India, that is Bharat. It feels really good to find M.K. Dhar's character viewed in the fictional story in a nice way. These family values and emotional bond is what India, that is Bharat, is known for. And while in the rat race to adopt everything from the West, people started forgetting. It gives a soothing feel. Now let us talk about the book. Let us take a look at the cover page of the book, the gateway to the fictional world explored within. As you can see, the cover page shows the landscape of a city from the lens of the sniper rifle, and you can deduce that a sniper is at high altitude, possibly on the roof of a high-rise building in a metro city. The cover page lives up to the expectations. The bluish background goes in sync with the color scheme. The text reflects the gradient from white to red via yellow color and thus stands out on the background. So in terms of the colors and readability also, the cover page hits the bullseye. Overall, an impressive cover page that will raise an urge within you to grab the book and read it. Let us have a bird's eye view of the book plot. Aditya or Adi is enjoying his free time with his friend Zoya in a mall and cannot believe that he is actually living these joyous moments. The reasons are his past, which is known to us as of now, but his happy moments are not here for long to live. When both of them were en route to the exit, all of a sudden he sensed something is unusual. While he took Zoya to the safety, a sniper's bullet hit its target. No, it is not Aditya. And it brought Aditya into action. I am not going into the details here. He is able to track and take down the shooter, and at the same time he saw one of them leaving the place. So the shooter was not alone. The police is arrived on the place, and based on the situation they confuse Adi as the culprit. Despite all of Adi's try to convince the authorities, they were not ready to listen, and Adi was taken into the police custody. Due to Adi's influential contacts and Zoya's efforts, however, the police needed to release him. More importantly, the truth came out that Adi was actually trying to save people and able to nail down one of the attackers. Here we come to know something important about the victim and Adi both. In this media over friendly age, his heroics didn't go unnoticed, unfortunately, and next day he was in the news all over. The kill was not a random one, and the sniper was not an ordinary contract killer. It is a big terrorist organization behind it, and the exposed heroics of Adi made him one of their targets. So, will Adi be the next target? Will the authorities give him security, and will it be enough? What will happen to Zoya and others who are in the same way related to Adi? What will happen to Zoya and others who are in some way related to Adi? And what is the plot of the terror organization? Well, all the questions are better get answered by reading this thriller rather than talking much about it. Now, let me share my views and reviews for the book. Telling more about the plot will include spoilers, and as our regular readers already know, that we actually try to keep away them as much as possible, and thus some of the things in the plot must be avoided. The main idea behind providing review of the book is not to summarize the story, but just giving the hint of the main plot and discussing about various aspects of the book and what we genuinely think about it. We believe that an unbiased book review will help readers or potential buyers in making read or purchase decisions. Of course, writing a book requires a lot of efforts and it is very easy to give it a few stars. From the writer's perspective, it often seems unjust as well. At the same time, when a reader is going to spend his or her money and more importantly, time, an unbiased book review may help him or her in taking decisions. The story is really good. For the thriller, or for that matter, for any book, it is the core element which has to be stronger. Without a stronger base, you cannot build a fantastic monument. What I like the most in the story is its contemporariness. Of course, it is a fantasy fiction, but some references to the recent events directly and or indirectly makes the story more relatable. Intelligent readers will be able to draw parallel easily and will enjoy it even more. The references to TV channel ICTV and new government will not go unnoticed by them. Here is an example. The national anthem is played on a radio somewhere and the kids stopped playing, standing at attention. I smiled. I watched them resume their game once it had stopped. That simple gesture taught me a lot. I lived in India where it was fashionable to debate whether the anthem should be played in cinema halls and whether one should stand for it. But there was still an India out there where patriotism was still taken as an article of faith. Here is one more example. The news once arrived before the commandos. Put that down to leaky information, inefficient cops of super efficient media vultures. It is rare to see meet with the reality moments for the people who are in the wrong side of the humanity. As we mostly are exposed to the stories written in a way where they show black and white. In reality, the majority of people have grey shades. Emotions of an assassin are captured nicely in the book. Here is an interesting segment in the same context. The only Indians he had seen up close were those he had marked for death through his scope. Now, he was seeing them as human beings, perhaps no different from those he had once counted as family and friends. Often the hate feels vulnerable in presence of love. It is, more often than not, rightly said that with more wealth, more greed enters into the arena. We had witnessed many times in the real life that people with limited resources are more generous than those who sit on the pile of the wealth. Of course, there are exceptions, but mostly the people which we call common men are generous. They might be living in tiny place but have bigger hearts. Nowadays such real people rarely appear on movies and TV shows, especially in India. The author, however, brings them here in the story. Here was a family who perhaps earned less in a year than their employees earned in a couple of days, yet openly welcoming us in, willing to share their food with us. We wolfed down what was placed in front of us. Then, as I looked up, I felt guilty about not leaving enough for this family, which had shared its meal with us. Combat training involves many things. The physical fitness is just one part of it. It is said that mind is the most powerful weapon anyone can have during tough time. The author comes up with some good lines in the same regards. Once you are in a violent situation, adrenaline kicks in. It is a double-edged weapon. On one hand, adrenaline can make you react and often take a lot of damage without realizing it. On the other, it tends to narrow your focus too much, often coming in the way of rational thought, preventing you from thinking of other options. Here are some more such lines. The key was to remember that protecting yourself in a situation involving civilians did not always require fighting. It required preparation, awareness, and evasion. What we train for most is learning to plan before the adrenaline rush of combat hits, and then learning to control one's thoughts and actions despite the chaos. And it is not all about just the warfare, kills, thrills, etc. I like the definition of love in the book. You don't have to be strong all the time. Perhaps that is what love is, knowing that you can show your worst to someone and know that you won't be judged. It is something we crave for in almost every relation, right? The armed forces kill the enemies and so does the antisocial elements, but they are different. One does it to make the society clean and better place to live, while the other does it for the wrong reasons. Though through the mouth of a character, the author represents his views on the same as you are an enemy. But do you know the one difference between your jihadi friends and us in the army? We won't treat our enemies as subhumans. We bury their fallen with honor. We respect their courage even as we kill them. The book has some realistic lines which are infused with sarcasm. And no matter what they show you in the movies, when an unarmed man goes up against someone with a gun, he usually ends up dead with a bullet somewhere inside him. The author is good at showing emotions of a trapped person who is caught in a fatal situation. Here is an example. Thoughts of revenge were always good when you were in as deep a pile of shit as I was. War is often glamorized, but ultimately it leaves people in a situation where everyone has lost something. Even the battle of Mahabharata is a proof. Sometimes the situations are so tragic that it is tough to tell whether someone is a winner or a loser. The book has some emotional lines in that context. People think all soldiers sit and talk of battles, of medals and growls won, or daring raids. No, all soldiers sit and talk of brother they have lost. They never show that on the news because if people realize just how awful war is, they would stop asking for it so often. Here is a philosophical yet inspirational line from the book. Sometimes it is not only winning that matters, but whether that battle is worth fighting and dying for. So now you must have got an idea about the quality of the content the book possesses. There are not many characters in the book. The primary ones are Adi, Zoya, Karzai, Thapa, Ravi and Rekha. All of them are given necessary scope and thus almost all the characters are well developed. If you are an avid thriller and detective or spy fiction lover, you can guess the suspense before it is revealed, but it is well kept. The book also contains a glimpse of the next book in the series and aftermath of the incidents in this book. It will make readers curious for the next book for sure. The author could have added glossary at the end of the book. So, what is the conclusion? Well, here is the summary. Do you love reading thrillers? If yes, then you will surely enjoy reading this book, especially the way the incidents are linked in the context of current political, geographical, and social structure are going in sync with the reader's expectations. ThinkerViews rating would be around 7.5 stars out of 10. So, have you already read the book? Are you planning to read it? What do you think about this book review? Do you find it helpful in deciding whether to go for the book or not? Please do share your genuine remarks via comments below. If you have enjoyed listening to the review, please hit the like button and do not forget to share it with your friends and other fellows whom you think such reviews interest more. Till we meet with our next podcast, bye bye, take care, namaskar.